Hello everyone, I'm Magda and I'm a me engineering manager at Adobe. And today my presentation will be about self-confidence in the face of failure. And we'll talk together about the type of failures. And after that, we'll make a zoom in on how to build confidence. And we'll focus mainly on 3 habits that I found useful in my career and that I'll also recommend to my direct reports. So I hope you'll enjoy the presentation. In a moment, I will share also my screen. Okay, so here we are. Self-confidence in the face of failure. Let's first talk about the failures. And a very good book that I, all the time when I have the opportunity, I recommend it. It's The Fearless Organization by Amy Edmondson. And the main subject of this book is the psychological safety. Psychological safety means that everyone feels that there is a space where everyone could raise concerns, ask questions, say when they have done any mistakes. So it's a safe space. And this space allows also failures. And in the book, the author mentioned that there are 3 types of failures. There are preventable failures or mistakes. These ones are the deviations from the known processes. So usually you know the process, you know what should be done. It's a clear set of actions, it's a clear set of steps, and even so you are doing it in a different way and a mistake is happening. The root cause for this kind of failures is usually the behavior or the lack of attention. The second type of failure is represented by the accidents. The accidents are complex failures, usually other than having some steps maybe or having a familiar situation. The combinations or the factors will make us to make any kind of accidents. And usually the root cause for these are the complexity, variability, and the novel factors that were put it, all of them on a familiar situation. For example, this could be in software development, especially when you introduce a bug and that bug crashes the app or creates any downtime for your service or creates any things that are not pleasant for your customer. And the third type of failure is represented by the discoveries or intelligent failures. And these ones should be celebrated. The previous 2, they should be avoided. The discoveries are more about the situations when you try something new for the first time. It's about research. It's about a lot of ambiguity. It's about making sure that, okay, I have a lot of ambiguity, but I also try to make a risk assessment. And based on that risk assessment, you have some backup plans. So everything gets analyzed and considered. And even so, some failures or issues appear. In this kind of failure should be celebrated because they involve learning, they involve the risk assessment done before. So it's very important to notice when we are doing failures on which category from these 3 we are. And now that is more clear what the failure is, I will move to the second part of the presentation, which is the part of the confidence, because my talk is about self-confidence. And I really enjoy Mel Robbins. She also have a podcast and a YouTube channel. She also wrote some books. So she has a lot of energy. So it's a very pleasant person. And she mentioned that confidence is the willingness to try. And this definition of her for confidence, it's inspired by the confidence competence loop. And this confidence competence loop mentioned that if you take action, so the willingness to try, you try something, you take an action, that grows the competence. For example, at the beginning and even now, I have a lot of, I'm very nervous when I need to give a talk. So by taking action and trying and exercising and having multiple talks, help me to improve this competence that nurtures some self-belief. I have days when I believe that I'm a good speaker, but for sure I have also a lot of things to improve. But this competence usually nurtures the self-belief, and the self-belief builds confidence. So I have the confidence to take another action, to take another talk to provide, or go to a different conference, or try to run a workshop. So all this confidence competence loop is the thing that helps us to build confidence. So it's all about the willingness to try. Now, Because when my talk was accepted for this conference, I was thinking, what will be the habits that will help us to build this self-confidence? And usually when you make a change, even if it's at work or in the personal life, personally, I enjoy, or I found very helpful, this metaphor with the Lego pieces. When you make a choice, when you change your job, when you change your role, it's like you get a box full of Lego pieces, and you need to start building something from them. And you realize that some pieces are okay, some pieces are broken. You also realize that there are some missing pieces and you are not able to build what you are trying to build. So this metaphor of building a Lego, it's very appropriate in my perception with building a career, building a new habit, building a new skill, or just changing the role. And also for this presentation, I was thinking that three building blocks, through three very important Lego pieces that could help us to build confidence are the followings. And I will start with the first habit: be proactive. This habit is inspired by the book 7 Habits. And in the book, I think this, if I remember correctly, this is the first chapter. In the book, it is this comparison between the common practices and the highly effective practices. How do you recognize a person who is not proactive? Usually, they react based on their feelings. They react based on their first reactions. They blame, they accuse, they use the victim language, like I have to. They always won't let me to. I can do that. I don't know how to do it. I don't want to do it. And usually it's on this negative area, and it's a lot of waste of time and energy on things that usually you can control. The highly effective practices, on the other way, they are about proactive behavior. And this could be reflected also in the language. It's a more proactive, I can, I choose to, I'll find other options. And my favorite from this list is the one I choose to. When, for example, I have something to do, and when I say it in my mind, I need to do that task, I need to send that mail, it looks very exterior oriented, and it's like something that for sure I don't enjoy it and I need to do it. It doesn't sound helpful for me. But when I change the language and I mentioned I choose to send this email, it's more in my control. It's about me. It's my choice. It's in my control. And also, the highly effective practices are about focusing on facts and not stories. And this is also related to the imposter syndrome that I think you already knew about it. It's about the fact that in our mind, in some challenging situations, especially, we're focusing a lot on the stories we are making in our head, and we are not focusing on the facts. Okay, what are the concrete facts? What are the observations? What is the current reality? And we start to imagine that someone was thinking that I will not be good enough to do that task, that someone thought that I'm not prepared to take that new project. So all these are stories. They are not based on facts, so we should focus on facts. And I also enjoy this phrase from the book, make your weather. What you could do with what we have at this moment, so you could be successful, so you could be in a position that you are able to achieve your objectives. So it's the freedom to choose. You have some stimulus, usually, and after that you have a response or a reaction, and it's our choice how we react to a stimulus. We decide based on our reaction if that stimulus was a positive one or a negative one. It's our choice. It's in our only hands to do that choice. Now, another metaphor that I found very helpful from the same book is the Covey circles of influence. And I use this sample a lot with my teams, also for myself when I have a challenging situation or a new one. And this metaphor, it's about the idea that there are 3 different areas, usually when you are in a situation or when you have a challenge. You have the most interior, the inner circle, the circle of control. And usually here are the tasks, the situations, the things that are in our control. I can control that area. I'm able to decide for myself what books to read, and based on that, to decide if those books will help me or not for my objective. So things that are in my full control. The second circle is the circle of influence, and here are the things or the situations that we could influence. We are not in control, but we could influence them, and it's very important to make the distinction between these two areas. For example, maybe you work with other team and you are waiting something for them to deliver it so you could do your work. In that situation, for sure, you are not able to go there and do their work, but for sure you could influence that situation to make sure that they deliver what they promised in time, so you could achieve also your own objectives and do your work. And you could do that by, I don't know, maybe setting up weekly calls with them, or having a way to check the progress in the Jira tickets, or have a wiki where you could review the progress, or meeting with that team, make a scrums. There are a lot of possibilities. So this is about circle of influence. And the third one is the circle of concern. And usually here are all the situations that are neither in the control area, neither in the influence area. And these are the most frustrating ones, usually. And the only option we have here is, could we learn to accept them? Because it's clear that we can't control them, we can't influence them, so the only option we have is to accept them as they are and see if it's any good thing from them. So all the time, when you have a challenging situation, or you start having those stories in your mind, try to understand if your situation, your context, is in one of these three circles, which is the right circle for that situation. And based on that, you will know what to do next. So this was the be proactive habit. Now, the second habit that I found very helpful is ask for help. And this ask for help, even it sounds very simple and straightforward, sometimes it's not so easy to be done. And this is coming from the fact that we are afraid to ask questions because maybe we think they will think us that we don't deserve the role we have, or maybe they expecting for us to know those things, or even maybe you are a shy person and you don't like to talk too much. But even this ask for help could be done in a proactive way, speaking about the previous habit. And it's about realizing that without getting help will be difficult for you to speed up the things, to speed up your work, to making sure you achieve your objectives. So, and asking for help for sure is a normal part of the learning process. And you will ask for help, other people will come to you to ask for help. So be mindful that the perspective could also change. Now, how to do it in a professional way? My recommendation here is to have 4 steps. Prepare, structure, listening, and gratitude. The prepare part is about doing your part. Here, okay, I have this challenge. I don't know how to fix this issue. First of all, make sure you understand the entire flow. Make sure you understand your context. Make sure you document a little bit those things. What have you tried? What errors did you encounter? What challenges appeared? What is missing? And make sure you have a great idea, a clear idea about what is the current context and what is the issue you have. What is the concrete challenge you want to solve? After that, make sure you have a structured approach to put all this information. Okay, you decide that you have this issue, you document it, you think you found the person who might help you, and you go with this structured approach to that person. For sure, this will increase the likelihood that they will help you, because if you have everything prepared and everything very clear for you and easy to understand, and at least with concrete questions, that person will understand that you are a very organized person, and they will not spend too much time with you to understand the context, understand the issue, what you need, what are the questions. And for sure, the likelihood to help you in the future will increase. The third step is to engage in active listening and summarize the findings. Usually, especially if they are having limited time, they will give you an advice, but make sure you understand the advice or the guidance. Make sure you take notes, and make sure you also clarify at the end if you have understood it correctly. Clarification, confirmation. And at the end of that conversation, make sure you summarize everything. Okay, please, let's see if I understood correctly. You said that I will need to do A, B, C, D, and make sure that those are put it on a paper, you have them somewhere noted, and they are validated with the person who offer you guidance. And the last step, it's about gratitude. For sure, don't forget to say thank you. And appreciate the time, and also do a follow-up. If you indeed that solution was the right one and you solve your challenge, just do a follow-up with that person and tell them, oh, okay, your idea was great. I managed to fix that issue. Thank you again for your help. Or even if it didn't work and you found another option, will help also that one. Mention to them that indeed their guidance was not exactly the solution to your issue, but it helped to discover the real one. So make sure they know the outcome of their help. So don't hesitate to ask for help, but do it in a structured and organized way so they will not spend too much time with you. And next time the likelihood to help you again will increase for sure. So this was about ask for help. And the last habit is about continuous learning. And I love this not yet, the power of not yet. And there are situations when you get the question, do you know how to do X thing? And I enjoy really much the answer when someone mentioned that I don't know yet. So this is about continuous learning. For sure, in each domain, but especially in software development and not only, it's about continuous learning. The software area is developing with a very fast speed. We also change as people, and also the people skills needs to be all the time adapted and learn more, and they are not so easy to acquire. So 3 things that we could do to focus on continuous learning and have this habit. It's the first one is related to the curiosity. And usually when you don't know something or you don't understand something, the best question I discovered to ask is to ask yourself, how can I be more curious about this? Because curiosity is helping us to ask ourselves questions. The curiosity helps us to build critical thinking. The curiosity helps us to make sure we looked at a topic, a concept, a problem from multiple perspectives, so we could make sure that we understood fully what's happening there. Also, running experiments will help. And at the end of each kind of experience, experiment, or anything we learn, it's important to have this reflection time. What have I learned about this? And making sure that you are able to explain it even to a child, and it's very clear for you. And what I have learned about myself. Learning how to learn, it's not an easy skill, it's a meta skill. And it's very helpful, especially in our context where the things are switching and changing very often. So what have I learned about this? What have I learned about myself? The second thing is related to the focus on facts and not feelings. And I also cover it a little bit in the previous habits. It's important to recognize when our mind is starting to go in different directions and our thoughts are starting to go in different directions. We should be mindful about those thoughts and see if they are facts or if they are just stories. So we should validate our assumptions. Other than that, it's important, and I discovered it also for myself and for my teams, that it's important to take time to celebrate. You know, for example, if you're using Scrum, you have those ceremonies, those events, you have a planning, a refinement, a sprint review, and so on. We should have a similar ceremony or event to celebrate, because in that moment, we give ourselves permission to stay a little bit and enjoy the feeling that we achieved something. We finished a milestone, we finished an initiative, we delivered a new feature, we delivered a new product, and so on. So make time to celebrate and try to be present in that event, and try to have like a screenshot of that moment, and keep that screenshot with those feelings you have in that moment for the moments when the things will not be so great. Because we have a lot of ups and downs, a lot of challenges and opportunities to solve. It also helps to keep track of your successes. This will help you also for your check-in conversations, for performance management process with your manager, will help you to update your CV, will help you also maybe to get a promotion. And change the perspective when the things are difficult for you. And I really find helpful this idea or this advice to think about when you have a difficult situation. Think about what if your best friend or someone very dear to you will have the same challenge. What will be your advice for that person? So by changing this perspective, you are able to see the things from a different filter. And finally, give yourself permission to make mistakes, because we talk about failures, we talk about mistakes, and it's normal to make mistakes. The most important thing from that is to learn from them and not repeat the same mistake twice. Because everyone starts at zero, so you should give permission to make mistakes, to learn from them and see how you can apply those learnings in the future. And remember to continue to have that willingness to try. The courage comes first, and the confidence is what we build over time. Also, it's important to be mindful about your strengths. And I also got this advice from my mentors, and I give this advice to my teams. It's important to understand what are your strengths and focus on those strengths when you have something to do. If you know you are very good at collecting information, then next time when someone needs help, or next time you have an initiative related to research that should be done, for sure you'll be the right person to do it. And finally, focus on self-compassion instead of self-criticism. That's it. Focus on be proactive, ask for help and continuous learning, and make sure that the confidence will be a gift for you after that. Focus on yourself and be kind to yourself. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, for sure you could find me online, on Twitter, and also on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.